Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we have an exciting one. I'm going to be unboxing my recent order from MVP. For those of you that don't know me, my name's Chris. I am co-owner of a disc golf store called Disc Zone. We've been around for about a year and a half. And I've been doing some of these unboxing videos just to show you guys what a disc golf store owner like myself gets in their orders. And funny enough, this actually wasn't going to even really be a video until I opened the first box and I was like, this has to be a video. This might be the craziest MVP unboxing I've ever done. Some of this stuff is pretty legit, so I figured I'd show you guys. But without further ado, let's get straight into the video. The whole reason this video starts is because of this box right here. I kind of organized these by color. This is a box full of trails and some Fision Teslas. Here's the first trail. This might be the swirliest, most pearly trail I've ever seen. Amazing color. I'm not sure if I've ever seen one quite like it. This one's 165 grams, super sweet looking. The trail, for those of you that don't know, has been probably one of, if not the best selling disc at my store since it released. Players of all skill levels have really enjoyed throwing the trail. It's just been a disc I continue to restock and continue to sell out of. And here comes the second coolest trail right here. It's like an orange with a kind of like pink swirl on the rim. This one's 165 grams. Has a moderate amount of dome. Next one, got another pinkish swirl one. This one's 171 grams. This one's a little bit flatter. I have a couple pink ones. Here's another swirly one. This is crazy. Green with a blue swirl. This one's moderately flat as well, 172 grams. This is kind of like the craziest swirls I've ever gotten within a box. Even this one has a little bit of swirl. It's like a white light blue swirl, 173 grams. I figured I might as well show you guys because I love swirly stuff from MVP. It makes it unique, just rare to see these kind of colorways. This one's a little bit white blue swirl, another blue swirl with like kind of like a teal rim, blue swirl with like a purple rim, 171 gram. Black and blue swirl, 165 gram. Violet blue swirl, 171 gram. I mean, this is crazy. Another purple blue swirl. This one is 165 grams, relatively flat. This one's like kind of like a purple swirl, 170 grams. And to end it all off, a gray swirl. So this might be the most swirly amount of trails I've ever gotten, ever. This is definitely one of the most trails I've ever ordered in general. But to get them all swirly is crazy. Figured I'd share that with you. This is pretty sick. I still have so many boxes to go through, so stay tuned for that. If you're interested in checking out any of the discs I show you, you can check them out at www.disczone.com. By the time this video comes out, they will all be uploaded for you to check out. Next in this box, we have some Fision Teslas. The Fision Tesla has recently been one of the more popular fairway drivers from MVP. The Fision Plastic probably makes it a lot more understable. I think it just truly makes it a little bit more glidey, just slightly more understable, more usable for the typical player. Got a couple cool ones. I got this pink swirl one. I got kind of like a mini purple swirl-ish one, 174 grams. And I think the cool thing about these is that I got them in a bunch of different weights as well. So I have, I believe, even one in the 150s, some in the 160s, and in the 170s, obviously, as well, max weight. It's been selling out very quickly, which took me kind of by surprise. So I got a good amount here. If you're ever interested in checking out any Fision Teslas, you know where to get them. And the last thing in this box is I have some Neutron Terras. So I haven't ordered Neutron Terra since I first opened the shop, I think. MVP originally sent me a bunch of board flat white ones, and these are actually really domed. So the only person I know that throws a Terra is a locally sponsored MVP pro called Simon Crosby. He throws, I believe, a Domey kind of like purplish Terra that he throws for like all his straight to slightly stable shots, and he kind of bombs them. So I'm not sure if these will bomb. Comment down below if you've ever thrown a Domey Terra before. I have thrown the board flat ones. They're basically kind of like a Sexton Firebird-ish, a little bit more stable maybe. But I'd be kind of curious to try these ones out and see if they have a little bit more glide or if they're a little bit more overstable. I'm not really sure. But that was the first box. Getting into the second box, we have some more MVP stuff. On the right, it looks like we have a bunch of Eclipse Plastic. And it's a bunch of Eclipse resistors. Recently sold out of these, so figured I'd stock them up. This was recently compared to the new Neutron Turbulence from Streamline. And these, at least the one Manny gave us, was pretty overstable. These look pretty overstable as well. I've also heard that there's some straighter runs of resistor, but those are pretty hard to come by. But these all look pretty board flat and pretty standard for a typical Eclipse resistor. So I also got some more putters, it looks like. I got some Electron Ions. Electron Ion, I personally putt with the Electron Soft Ion, so very good disc in my opinion for wind putting, just having a nice reliable flight to it. Got a cool aqua swirl one here. That one's pretty sweet. And I also have this nice purple one. And it looks like, yeah, I did get a couple of firm ones. Orange, light orange cream one. And I also have this blue one, so pretty cool. Nice flat profile, typical of most putters obviously. It has that nice bead too as well. So if you're interested in getting a new putting putter, highly recommend checking out an Ion if you like beaded putters. Next, looks like we have some dimensions. The Neutron Dimension, recently started stocking these maybe 2-3 months ago. These are very overstable, and originally when I opened up the shop, I didn't really plan on stocking these because I was like 14.5 speed, overstable. I don't really know many people are gonna throw these. However, since I started stocking them, this one's kind of cool. It's kind of like almost proton neutron-y. These have some moderate dome. I've heard that the ones that are super domey, kind of this one's almost like that, very domey. Bomb a little bit farther than the typical flat ones. Very cool to get some of those in. Next in this box, looks like I have a new disc actually to the store. It is the Neutron Deflector. Very overstable mid-range. I've only thrown one a couple of times before, but pretty reliable flight, obviously. The numbers of 3.504, fully expected. Kind of like a meat hook. It's good utility mid-range, I would say. You could get a little bit of distance out of them if you beat one up. It's nice for shots where you need a flare skip with the mid-range to the left. There's not a mid-range I currently have in my bag that does that. So I'm thinking about bagging a deflector for sure. These are pretty poor flat though, so I'm not sure how overstable that is. Got some cool colorways here. If you don't bag a deflector, I'd be curious to see what you guys throw for overstable mids because, like I said, I'm trying to fill that slot myself. So comment down below if you have an overstable mid that you would recommend. Getting into the next bit of the box, looks like we have some Proton Teslas. So Tesla, not only the Fision ones, but the Proton ones have been very popular as well. Pretty swirly, honestly. I got the orange with the gold swirl rim on this one. I have pink swirl. Here's a blue and clear swirl Proton Tesla. This blue one is pretty sweet. Lavender swirl. This one's 163 grams. And this one's kind of purple. These I've heard are a little bit straighter than the typical Neutron ones. Have a little bit of a slightly lower parting line, it seems like. Very comfortable in the hand. And I think since Simon's released his Hummingbird kind of special edition Proton Tesla, these have become quite a bit more popular. So happy to stock some of those. Got some crazy swirly ones. This one is really swirly for a Proton Tesla. And then the last thing in this box are Inertias. So Inertia is a disc, like I said in a recent MVP unboxing, that I just recently stocked. I guess I severely underrated because a lot of people really enjoyed throwing it. It's kind of the Valkyrie numbers of 9.5 -22. Very good disc. Got a nice purple one here. I've noticed this recently with an orbital that there's this like neutron proton-ish plastic. You can kind of see my hand like through the disc a little bit. I'm not sure if it's just a specific colorway, and I'm not sure how this flies, but I've only seen it in really lightweight plastic too. So this one's 163 grams. It's kind of a cool colorway. I have yet to throw an Inertia. I'm assuming it flies similar to that Fision Tesla, maybe a little bit more understable, a little bit more manipulative. Black kind of sparkly one. Very cool. A good color if you like playing in the snow, but very cool to get some Inertias in as well. Getting into the next box, first we have some Craves. So these Craves are probably one of the most popular fairway drivers ever sold at my store. With the numbers 6.5, 5, -11. It does exactly what the flight numbers say. Kind of just a nice hyzer flip, a little bit of turn, very minimal fade at the end. It's a great disc for players of all arm speeds. Honestly, one of the better fairway drivers I've ever thrown as well. I like throwing stuff that's a little bit more stable, personally, because my angle control is not that good, but I've got some cool colorways here. Got a red with a green. This is almost like a watermelon Crave. It's very lightweight though, 159 grams. Also have this green one, neon green with like a blue orange swirl rim. Ooh, nice little swirly one here. This one's kind of like a lavender swirl almost. Maybe bluish swirl with a nice teal rim. Very cool. This one's 159 grams though, very light. And oh my goodness, another swirly one. This one's kind of like maroon, light bluish swirl, almost. 168 grams, so a little bit heavier. Nice turquoise rim. Sweet disc. I'm not sure if the parting line's a little bit higher on these, but these look a little bit more stable than the typical Crave that I've felt. I've only ever really seen one Crave that flies really stable, and it's from Manny. Shout out him. He had one that had like a super high parting line to where it was like board flat, and it was very stable. These don't look quite like that, but they look a little bit more stable than the typical Crave. This one's a nice purple one with a blue rim, 171 grams. And like I said, cool to get these crazy swirls. This just looks totally unique. Very cool disc. And I hope I get some more discs like this in this unboxing. Those are all the Craves. Next, looks like we have some Neutron viruses. Very understable 9-speed, 9.5, negative 3.5, 1. Yep. So it's kind of like these in between the Sidewinder and Roadrunner for Innova. So it's kind of a disc you want to hyzer flip to turn if you have a slightly lower arm speed or you're throwing light. Or it's a good roller disc where you could just put it on a little bit of hyzer, it'll flip over right away and kind of just like turn into a nice roller. Ooh, this one's kind of sweet. A little pink, maybe peach swirl. It's a nice orange swirl rim. This one's 156 grams, very light. Ooh, very cool one. Pink with the black swirl. This one's 161 grams. Feels great in the hand. That's a very cool colorway. And I also have this, ooh, nice purple with the turquoise purple swirl rim. Very cool. This one's 155 grams. And I also have this blue one, 175 grams with a nice purple white swirl rim. A little bit of variety. Getting into the next set, we have some resistors. We got some sick colorways. Stoked on this. This is definitely going to be one of the better unboxings I've ever done. I could already tell. I have this yellow one. These Neutron ones should be of similar stability to the Eclipse ones. I have this orange one right here, 174 gram. And like I said, crazy blue swirl. Blue is definitely one of my favorite colors. It's cool to see like this kind of swirl. I like this, like how it swirls around the edge like that. This is probably a disc I would use to replace my Captain's Raptor if I were to ever get it, replace that. But this disc feels very good in the hand. Nice blue swirl there. I also have a nice like pinkish, purplish swirl one. This one's a little lighter, 166 grams. And this is what I'm talking about. This is probably the craziest swirl I've ever seen in my life. I mean, what even color is that? Is that like a fuchsia swirl? It's probably like a fuchsia color, 160 grams, so a little light, but this one is freaking sick. I don't think I've ever seen a swirly MVP disc like that. So, I mean, it just looks amazing. I don't even know what to say. I wish I had more discs that look like this. It's just craziness. This is like the craziest swirl I've ever seen on a disc for sure. Some of those trails might have had crazier swirls, but I think this one kind of takes it because it's not just swirly around the rim, it's swirly in the middle. But this is definitely one of the better swirls I've ever seen in an MVP disc. If you want this, it'll be on my site now. Hopefully it's not sold already, but check it out. And the last couple discs I have in this box are Detours. Detour, like I said, my top 10 best-selling discs of July. Probably one of the better understable mid-ranges. If you haven't tried one, highly recommend you do. But I think I only got a couple in this order because I already had a few. But probably need to order some more. Very good disc. These have some slight dome, so probably be a little bit glidier, a little bit more understable than those board flat ones. Yeah, that does it for this box. All right, getting into the next box. I only really have a couple more boxes. This box and one more, and then I'm basically done. And this box looks like I have two different discs. Looks like a lot of glitches. I don't know what these are. These are some balances. So the balance, new MVP disc, or Axiom disc, I should say, from Simon Lizotte, his new Simon line. Ooh, this one's a little domey. I haven't really seen a domey balance. This one, I'm not sure if it would be more stable or more understable. But this disc, when I tested it with Manny, maybe a couple months back, 2-3 months back when it first released, it was way more stable than I expected it to be. I expected it to be a straight flyer, but it kind of flew similar to kind of like a Pyro, maybe like a slightly beat up Pyro, but the difference wasn't that significant. Still, very popular disc. I would say, although it flies very similar to a Pyro, it might have a little bit straighter of a flight. The hand feel is pretty great. It's a little bit deeper than a Pyro and has a little bit of a bead right here. Feels very comfortable in the hand. This one's a nice white with a blue rim. Ooh, this one's a little swirly. Got a nice yellow with the orange swirl. Very minimal, but very cool disc. This one's 176 grams. Ooh, got the turquoise on turquoise. That's pretty sweet. I like seeing MVP Axiom, or I like seeing Axiom discs, I should say, with the same flight plate and rim color. I also have this blue one with a nice pink orange kind of swirl rim, 176 grams. I also have, ooh, this one's like a little aqua swirl. Aqua with maybe blue aqua swirl with a purple swirl rim. This is a very cool swirl as well. Has a nice different rim color, or just before the rim on the edge of the flight plate, has a nice color contrast comparative to what's in the middle. The balances, or the balance I tested in that video, was pretty board flat. It was definitely straighter than the original proto run, but it was still, like I said, very similar to a pyro. So for me, there was no need to really change. But this one's a little domey, and same with this white one right here as well. So this one's a little domier actually. Pretty gummy still, and I wonder if this will have a little bit more straight push comparative to the one I tested earlier. But getting into the next discs in this box, seems like it's all glitches. The most popular putter at my store, hybrid catch disc that players of all skill levels can use. Honestly, one of my favorite discs to have in the store. I got a bunch of these. Got a couple yellow ones here. Got some orange ones. Nice one's like a light orange, 152 grams. Got a nice dark orange one here. Got a pink one here. Nice pink ones. Did I get any swirly ones though? Got a nice red one here. Ooh, got a nice green. Oh, purple swirl one. This one's kind of cool. Has a little purple in the middle and maybe along the rim. 148 grams. This one's pretty sick. Pretty flat too. I've noticed some glitches recently have been really domey. I'm sure the flight doesn't change too much, but pretty cool to see these. Nice to get a swirly one. See if I have any more swirly ones. This one's kind of swirly. This one's like a lavender kind of swirl one. 148 grams. If you haven't tried to glitch out, or you're looking to spark some fun into your game, you've been playing for a long time and disc golf's getting kind of repetitive, throw a glitch. Throw it on your upshots, throw a glitch only round. It's very fun. This one's nice. Got a little tan, kind of orangish swirl on this one. Very cool to get some glitches in. Let's get into the last box. All right, getting into the last box, we have a bunch of Axiom stuff. Start over here. Got another super swirly one in here, I see, but these are Neutron soft proxies. Here's a little marmalade, kind of pinkish one right here. Neutron Soft Proxy was my straight throwing putter of choice for a long time. It's a very neutral flight. It is Manny's throwing putter of choice. He throws that on a good amount of hyzer. It'll flip up straight, just glide forever. He throws those things very far, like 350 plus feet. Speaking of swirly, this is probably one of the more swirly Neutron Soft Proxies I've ever seen in my life. Matches the rim color perfectly. This one's pretty flat too, 173 grams. And specifically, I mean, this is actually an insane swirl. And this is like aqua teal swirl. But the reason we throw Neutron Soft Proxies is because the soft plastic typically makes it a little, oh, this one's kind of cool, blue on blue swirl rim. The Neutron Soft Plastic makes it typically a little bit more stable. You could throw these a little bit harder, a little bit flatter, and it'll glide typically a little bit farther for me. I'm not really good with throwing hyzer, so it's kind of a nice disc to just throw slight hyzer, flip up, and it'll just glide forever and land very flat. It won't fade too much. It won't burn over if you put the right angle on it. Probably one of the best neutral flying putters in the world, in my opinion. Currently, I throw a Recco, but that's a little bit more touchy and typically just for hyzer flip turnovers. So I might need to put a Neutron Soft Proxy in the bag because it's treated me well in the past. But getting into the next chunk of discs, we have some Fision Hexes. So these are a new disc. I've never had, or not a new disc in general, but a new disc for the shop. It's a disc I've never had before, but these have been requested a little bit. Fision plastic, a little bit more understable, causes them to have 5.5 glide, 5.5, -1, So they might go a little bit farther. I think I've only thrown one Fision Hex once and did go pretty far, but it got a nice yellow swirl one here. Kind of swirl. Little orange swirl one here. That's pretty sick. But I'm happy to get these in the shop. This is kind of like a light red, dark pink almost kind of swirl one. It's very cool. Got another red swirlish one here with a white swirl rim. Glad to get these in. The Hex is probably one of the most popular mid-ranges. For sure the top 3 most popular mid-range at my store. So happy to have these in. Diversify the amount of plastics I have it in, just so you guys can test them out and just have the opportunity to check one out. Getting into the next part of these discs, I have Craves. And actually, I just realized these are new too. Neutron, Cosmic Neutron Craves. I've had Neutron before, Eclipse, Proton, Prism Proton, And I think that's about it. Crave, like I said, probably one of the most popular fairway drivers. These are a little bit domier than those Neutron ones I just got. This one's kind of like an orange swirl. This one's nice and flat. Ooh, nice little green orange swirl one here. This one's like watermelon, red green swirl, very cool. Nice little red swirl one here, 174 grams. I've been getting these in a lot of varied weights. Yeah, this one's 166 grams. Orange blue swirl, very cool. I really like the Cosmic Neutron look. Very cool plastic. This one's 175 grams. Kind of like pinkish, turquoise, greenish swirl. And this one's pretty flat actually. Nice. Oh, fuchsia blue swirl. And lastly, we have a nice purple swirl one. This one's pretty flat. Similar to that Fision Hex, just want to diversify the amount of Craves I have in the shop just so you guys can check it out and maybe test something new out if you're interested. But those were the Cosmic Neutron Craves. And the last thing I have in this box are some Proxies. Some more Proxies. And these are Electron Firm. That's right. I think I ran out of Electron Firm. I might have one left on the site, but these will be up soon. These have a little bit more understability and a little bit more glide than the typical Neutron Proxy, which is crazy. So if you like throwing a lot of hyzer like this, it'll flip up and just glide forever. And you can throw these very far. This one's a nice orange one. This one's kind of like a watermelon-ish one almost right here. Pink with the green rim. And we have a nice blue with the red rim. And a nice purple with the red rim as well. These are just as flat as the typical Neutron ones. So with that being said, that kind of does it for the video in terms of the unboxing. This was a little bit last minute, kind of crazy. I kind of looked into a couple of the boxes just thinking about restocking back on my site. Saw those trails, saw a couple of the discs in some other boxes and was like, I gotta make a video of this. Besides that, that kind of does it for the video. I also got the new Proton resistors and the new streamline plasma shifts in and the new retooled time lapses. I came out with a review of the Neutron time lapse recently, so if you haven't checked that out, I would highly recommend it. If you want to check out any of these discs, pre-order any of those discs that are coming out August 15th, feel free to check out my website, www.discount.com. I would really appreciate that. Thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate all the support since starting my YouTube channel. Couldn't do it without you guys, and I hope you guys find this content beneficial for you, entertaining. But that kind of does it for this video, guys. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.